Hello, dear friends. The signs are everywhere, and the whispers have become undeniable proof, according to Mr. Poole. Opinion piece. End of evil. Nothing evil can survive. Lights and shadows of the new Pope. The Chinese support debt cancellation. UK cancels troop deployment in Ukraine. Everything with bad intentions will be fleeting. Brussels sues Spain for not applying censorship. The Bill Gates Foundation announces its closure. Frequency acceleration triggers the departure of darkness. Let's start. Darkness and evil are supposed to live now. They had the opportunity to choose ascension and didn't. Their turn will come at the end of another future cycle. No one is left behind, except for their own choice, according to Steve Biko. Those who simply say, "No, I don't want to do this," will be gathered into mercy, compassion, gentleness, and kindness. They won't be taken elsewhere. They will be brought home to be revealed, according to the Divine Mother. It's not about tearing down or destroying people or physical structures like in wars. They will disappear because they cannot incorporate the energy level of love, because that is ascension. You've heard of situations where people's hearts stopped or explode for no explainable reasons. It's simply because they can't continue, and the merciful thing to do is simply bring them home with gentleness and kindness. According to Matthew, anything that gains permanence anywhere in the world will align with the light, and anything with bad intentions will be fleeting or will never take off. It simply won't gain strength or momentum. It won't have any force. If we could see it on a spiritual level, I think we would see the initiative sunk in dormancy as something rejected, unwanted, or inappropriate at this time. There is no other way for things to be in a universe governed by divine law, says Matthew. It cannot be otherwise, simply because this is the physical law that governs life in this universe. As the Earth advances by leaps and bounds toward ever higher planes, nothing can survive with low frequency in any form. Physical bodies, subversive plans, theft, dishonesty, unjust loss and imprisonment, intolerance, cruel customs and acts. Mira of the Pleiadian High Council confirms that the acceleration of frequency causes the departure of darkness and evil. Those who lack light have been dismissed or are on their way. The Earth's frequencies have accelerated to the point that those of lower vibration can no longer sustain themselves. White Cloud also encourages us to take action to expel the darkness, not the people. It is the divine plan for us to do so. Bring your wealth to the light and free it from darkness, for it is the divine plan that you do so. Saint Germain helps us see the way out of darkness. In quotes, "It has taken you a long time to reach your current position, and this is happening just as you are about to achieve your greatest achievement in this cycle. This is in keeping with the plan of the High Councils and the Elohim for the destiny of Earth and its people. What appears to be merely a physical confrontation is in reality occurring on various levels, and you are rising, repelling the dark forces until they finally leave your frequency. What a glorious future awaits you as you take your place among the ascended beings, having achieved your own ascension." New Pope. The new Pope is American Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, 69, a native of Chicago. He has been the leader of the Catholic Church's 1.4 billion Catholics since Thursday. He will call himself Leo XIV, according to the announcement after his election on the second day of his conclave. Prevost, a missionary with extensive experience in Peru, will succeed Pope Francis. He is the first American pope who also holds Peruvian nationality, after 4 decades of relations with the South American country. Did Trump hint that the new pope would be an American? The artificially generated self-image Trump created indicated he knew the next pope would be American, according to the Shadow of Ezra. The million-dollar question is whether President Trump controls the new American pope. So, who is in charge? Who runs the Vatican? Although they both share American nationality, their backgrounds, opinions in plural, and priorities are clearly different and in many ways opposite. However, the storm rider believes that President Trump controls the Vatican now because he has assumed power from the Jesuits. Therefore, it's no surprise that we have an American pope. In his view, Pope Francis capitulated on March 23, 2017, and handed over the keys of the Vatican to President Trump. Queen Elizabeth also capitulated on July 12, 2018, and handed over her gold to President Trump, who then dissolved the American corporation, in his opinion. The new pope supports open borders. Although the corporate media praises Leo XIV as a centrist, a deeper analysis of his public statements and social media activity reveals a different story. This pope openly supports open borders and has criticized leaders for defending national sovereignty. Leo XIV has been critical of the Trump administration's immigration policies, especially those affecting immigrant families that have been deemed contrary to Christian values. Before his election, the Pope himself used social media to express disagreement with Vice President Vance's stance and the restricted interpretation of Christian doctrine used to justify deportation policies. Robert Prevost, a fierce opponent of same-sex marriage and gender studies in the classroom, and a long-time critic of Trump and Vance, has previously expressed disappointment that some Western media outlets have sympathy for beliefs and practices that are at odds with the gospel, in his opinion, particularly the homosexual lifestyle and alternative families composed of same-sex couples and their adopted children, according to the New York Times. Accusations. Abuse allegations cast a shadow over the new pope. In May 2025, it was reported that the diocese had paid $150,000 to 3 minors who suffered abuse to silence them. Some accusers have claimed that Prevost failed to properly investigate the allegations and covered up for the accused priests, but the diocese has strongly denied this. The network of survivors of abuse by priests used a statement shortly after the news of the new pope broke, alleging that the pontiff was aware of cases of abuse during his time as Bishop of Chicago. Of Chiclayo, Peru, and failed to act accordingly. Fulford summary. According to Benjamin Fulford, the Illuminati group that informed him of the papal election represents the Nordic Thule Society, the Black Sun, the Nazis, and the Secret Space Force, and has offered to support the new financial system with silver and money accumulated by their group during the post-war period. In his view, this group was responsible for the blackout in Spain and Portugal, which was used as a cover to expel Satanists from those countries. He adds that if Hispanic nations decided to pool their silver production along with their silver reserves to serve as the basis for a new silver-backed currency, it would not only bring the price of silver closer to its real value, much higher than the current one, but would also drive the price of silver skyrocket. According to the Washington Post, President Trump was angered by his recently dismissed National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz's aggressive stance on Iran and coordination with Prime Minister Netanyahu on options to destroy Iran's nuclear program, which contributed to his dismissal last week. Germany's domestic intelligence agency officially classifies the Alternative for Germany party as a far-right group, concluding that it is undermining the country's democracy. In the most recent polls, the AfD sought to become Germany's most popular party. Vice President Vance compares the German government's treatment of the Alternative for Germany party to be the rebuilding of the Berlin Wall. In quotes, the AfD is the most popular party in Germany and, by far, the most representative of East Germany. Now bureaucrats are trying to destroy it. Vance wrote in X, "The West tore down the Berlin Wall together, and it has been rebuilt, not by the Soviets or the Russians, but by the German ruling class," he added. The Chinese have expressed their willingness to support a total cancellation of Western debt. However, in return, they want the West as a whole to rid itself of the dark influence and conform to basic social norms. This is in the West's interest because if we do not get rid of the parasites and improve our governance systems, it's only a matter of time before we end up working for the Chinese. Breaking news. Trump considers cutting tariffs on China in talks. Trump reaches a trade deal with the UK eliminating tariffs. The UK cancels its troop deployment in Ukraine because they realized that they were about to unleash a storm they couldn't control. A court in San Diego, California, declared the Peruvian state in default for failing to respond within the established deadline to the Kunturwasi Consortium's demand for compliance with an arbitration award. 67,000 white South Africans expressed interest in the U.S. asylum plan. This trial in turmoil after disappearance of victim 3. Why are Arab countries banning refugees from Gaza? Why is the underground facility where government leaders would take shelter during an extinction-level event getting an upgrade? Warren Buffett has just broken his silence. The dollar is plummeting and the global financial reset has already begun. Diversify now, he warns. When the world's largest investor abandons fiat currencies, it's no longer a theory. X22 report. Trump is using tariffs to force the Fed to lower rates. The EU will try to fight back, but will fail. China is lowering interest rates. Tariffs work. Business hire and produce. The system can be explained, but it must be experienced. Trump is sending a message to the people that the plan works and that patriots are in full control. He is in the process of eliminating the old structure and returning that power to the people. General Mike Flynn declares he is ready to serve as national security advisor. A political war is brewing. At this time, Flynn isn't just returning to advise, he is returning to dismantle. Flynn isn't a politician, he is strategic intelligence commander. Health. Trump signs an executive order to shut down all bioweapons funding. The Bill Gates Foundation has officially announced its closure. The health freedom movement is fracturing, according to Mike Adams. Florida declares a state of emergency as antigens deaths surge. RFK exposes the connection between autism and antigens. You can't find an autistic child among the Amish. The rollout of medbeds to the general public is planned for April 2028. The coalition reveals the medbeds training program. Access denied without completing a spiritual conditioning. The deployment is underway, and only those who are spiritually and neurologically prepared will be able to operate or receive its full benefits. Spain. The successful stress test that led to the blackout for data centers will encourage investment. The European Prosecutor's Office is investigating Spain's first quantum computer for alleged misappropriation of EU funds. Brussels sues 5 EU countries for failing to enforce digital censorship. The European Commission has taken Spain, Portugal, the Czech Republic, Cyprus and Poland to the highest court. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.